This is Really Famous. I'm Kara Mayer Robinson, and I interview famous people. But I don't just interview them like your typical interview. I'm not really interested in those same old questions. Instead, I like to know who they really are and what they really think. Today's really famous guest is Cesar Millan. Yes, it's the Dog Whisperer, your favorite dog behaviorist and trainer, is on the show. So yeah, this was such a cool conversation. I met Cesar when he was in New Jersey actually, doing some live shows with dogs and all. So yeah, he does those, and you can see him live if you want. Just check out caesarsway.com for a schedule. And he has so many other things. Of course, you know, he has dog training courses and programs at his dog psychology center in California. It's the one that you see on TV. And he also has one in Florida at a new pet resort. That's right, a pet resort. It's called the Country Inn Pet Resort. And it's a 5 paws luxury destination in Fort Lauderdale. Cesar also has a line of dog products, which includes that famous leash that you see him use so effectively on TV. Anyway, Cesar and I, and 2 of his famous dogs, Junior and Benson, you've probably seen them on TV, sat in his hotel suite for a few hours on a Saturday afternoon before one of his live shows. And we really got to talking, and he shared so much. It's really something. He's really something. It was a big, long talk that we had, so I decided to break it into 2 parts. This episode is part 1, and part 2 is kind of like a bonus episode. It'll come out very soon. So the trick is to subscribe to the show, so as soon as it's available, you will get it right to your phone or whatever device you use. A big thank you to our new sponsor, Fresh Patch. You know Fresh Patch. You saw it on ABC's Shark Tank. It's the rectangular patch of real hydroponically grown grass your dog can use indoors or on your balcony or wherever you like. It's super easy to use because dogs already like to go on real grass. It's not confusing like pea pads or synthetic grass. And there's no cleaning. You just throw it away when a new one arrives. Order Fresh Patch today. Go to freshpatch.com. And here's a word from our sponsor, Pet Playgrounds.
Have a dog that keeps getting out of your yard? Have an invisible fence that just doesn't work? Then you need a Pet Playgrounds dog fence. It's a physical fence that can be assembled by yourself or one of our installers. The Dig Guard prevents dogs from digging under our fence. It's a strong yet flexible steel mesh system that moves. This stops dogs from climbing over, too. Visit petplaygrounds.com and use the code REALLYFAMOUS to save 5% and get free shipping today.
Thank you, Pet Playgrounds, for sponsoring the show. So here's part 1 of my talk with Cesar Millan. This is the more personal side of Cesar. In part 2, we get a little more into dog psychology, behind the scenes details about his shows and whatnot. So here we are with Cesar talking about how he got his start. And he shares an incredible story about how he came to America from Mexico when he was young, broke, and didn't speak a word of English. This is Cesar Millan. Can we talk about where you grew up? You grew up in Mexico.
Yeah.
What part of Mexico was it?
I grew up in a rural part of Mexico. I grew up away from the city, and that was a blessing, you know. That was a blessing because in a farm, you know, your neighbors or your family members are animals, you know, and you get to experience that. It's like, you know, here seeing your neighbors are buildings, you know, and people that come out and walk super fast and just pass by, you know, and everything is fast. The farm has a different rhythm. It has a different vibe, you know, and it's all about respect. It's all about trust first and foremost, and then is the love, you know. So in that order. So I grew up that way. My grandfather, I grew up the old way, you know, as you grew up with your grandfather, grandma, dad, mom, sisters, and relatives. So it's the classic small area where everybody lives in and so how it functions.
So tell me about your parents and your grandparents. What were they like, their personality?
Well, number one, just so you know, my grandfather died when he was 105.
What?
Yeah, so that wisdom, he never went to school. That's the generation that was just pure farmer. He was in the revolution of Mexico, so he was running away because he didn't want to go fight, but he was part of that revolution in Mexico. He will have like marks on the back because they would get whip scars, but his mind was very clear, very. He was a very calm guy, very loving guy. My grandma was the strong one. It's like Italian moms, you know what I mean, or grandma. So my grandma was the pack leader there. You know, she was like total, like an elephant. You know, and everybody would listen to my grandma. You know, but my grandpa was the one who said, never work against Mother Nature. Always make sure you gain their trust, you gain their respect, and they're gonna give you a beautiful gift called loyalty. So you grew up with that mentality, you know, that was his wisdom to me. That was his treasure to me. You know, my dad is a huge animal lover, so that's what I got the passion and the love. So my grandpa gave me instincts, and my father gave me the passion to animals. And that's how I developed this. Well, I want to work with animals. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be an engineer. I don't really care about those professions. I respect them, but I don't really care. And my grandma didn't have education either. My grandma died 5 years later after my grandfather, and she also died at 105.
What?
So that genetics,
wow.
And her hair was long.
That is major.
Yeah, her hair was long. She went back to the farm. She said, you know, your grandpa died. I want to go back to the farm. This is the kind of people, they're so rooted to where they're from that the city overwhelmed them.
Wait, what do you mean I want to go back? Where was she then at that point?
Oh, we moved to the city.
Oh,
so from the
wait,
farm.
Why did you move to the city?
Because there's no education in the farm. Like ABC, I learned how to read. I learned how to write.
While you were on the farm?
No.
Oh, that's why you moved.
That's why we moved,
so that
because
they
wanted, you know, the next generation had to be better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, you know, that's the unselfish
So the
behavior.
whole family moved to the city?
My mom, my dad, my grandparents stayed at the farm. By then my dad had a job in the city, so he would send money to the farm. You know, back in that time, everybody, you know, we farm and we helped a wealthy person in that area to herd the cattle, and that's how I learned a lot about sheep herding. I didn't know that was actually a profession or a sport. But we had mutts. We never had a purebred dog. You know, so it's just the dogs knew what to do.
So you own the dogs, you train the dogs, and then you use them.
No, we never trained the dogs. We never trained the dogs. It was just natural. It was just instincts, you know. Dogs naturally form packs, and they also create formation. Once dogs start chasing something, everybody chases, right? And then once the human says, you know, hey, or which is very simple sounds that we use in the farm, and then the dogs know, okay, so the human is going to tell us when to run, when to chase, when to form, when to stop. That's it.
It's just like that.
It's just like that. It's just like that. You can see it in African wild dogs. You know, they go for a hunt and then they form. So that same thing, but now it's controlled by a human. Simple as that. Because the human feeds them. And it's not like we gave them kibbles or like amazing food that we have here in America.
Right.
You know, it's just like the leftovers of what.
There.
Yeah. You see what I mean? So what they see is team effort. You know, it's like we eating and we give you food. So then the loyalty and the gratitude is given to us. So that's why we can influence a behavior.
Okay, so you are doing the herding, or your dad is, or your family is.
We all are.
You all are.
Yeah.
So you're getting educated, but you're also working in this way.
At the moment you walk in a third world country, you gotta help.
Yep.
It is not that, oh, he's too little. That doesn't exist. You are gonna take care of your sister, you're gonna take care of something, you're gonna take care of a goat. You become responsible of something ASAP.
And that's with you now, forever. It will be, that's part of you.
Yeah.
Work ethic. So siblings, who do you have? Who are your?
My older sisters, but you know, she now also does dogs in Mazatlan, you know, in the city. And at that moment, she was not allowed to do men work. That's the bad part about that cultural thing, you know what I mean?
So what did you have to do, like
house thing? Stay at the house, you know.
Clean, cook.
Yeah, that's stupid stuff. Yeah, like, you know. But now she's totally like, you know, the new woman.
And she in Mazatlan?
Mazatlan.
And what does she do there?
She does dog walking, dog behavior. Yeah, and she grooms dogs.
It's the two of you only?
No. So that's my older sister, you know. So that's but the thing is, they give so much value to the male, right? So that's the unfortunate part. In that era, now it's equal. And then it's my sister Nora, and then it's my sister Monica, and then it's my brother Eric. So at the end, but my brother grew up in the city. My two little sisters grew up in the city. They didn't get the farm life, which is good. It's good.
So like, what was your personality compared to everybody else? In a family, they're all different personalities. So who were you as a kid?
Well, it's 3 levels of energies: high, medium, low. I was high. So I'm that little kid that if you don't keep him busy, it's gonna destroy the house. I'm the kid that asks a lot of questions, and it's just this. Your mind is always in an adventure state. Your mind is always in a building state. Your mind is always moving.
So your mind and your body too, like you were constantly.
Well, if your mind moves, your body goes.
So did you get into trouble, or did your
I got
family
into trouble
learn
at the city because the restrictions that the city puts in a kid, I never felt it in the farm. My mom never felt like she couldn't trust people at the farm. So I would go to the river by myself, or with the donkey, or with the dogs, or with my cousin Enrique when I was little. My grandpa would send me to find the donkey because sometimes the donkey would open the door and takes off, and he will start eating other people's things. Yeah, that's not good. So then they're gonna complain, and then they're gonna make us pay. So in the middle of the night he will send me, right? But in the city, then your parents begin to talk about kidnappers. And remember, and so I don't know if you know, but where I'm from is where the cartels are from. So that's when we hear danger.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's the center of it, like?
That's the center. Yeah.
Oh, and that was going on all along.
All everywhere. Yeah. So that's the equivalent of the Pablo Escobar. The Medellin thing. So you hear Colombia and you hear where I'm from. So Sinaloa, that's where the Chapo is from.
Oh, right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's where El Señor de los Cielos is from, the Lord of the Sky. So all the main guys
they're all
from there.
Well, so did you have any interaction at all? Or
I mean, yeah.
Like how?
But you know who they are. Their children go to school with the other kids. They're guarded by their bodyguards.
So everybody knew who they were and what they were up to. And so what did your family's like? You just have to lay low with them, or?
Well, that's when your mom, obviously the mom is the one that worries the most.
Yeah.
And that's the one, just keep a distance, keep a distance. Don't give a bad face or anything like that, because then you also get hurt by rejecting people. So you have to learn to mingle, you have to learn to survive, and you have to learn to accept, you have to be able to live within the danger of society. And I didn't grow up that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I'm from, it was perfect.
So did you feel uneasy?
Well, uneasy because I wasn't able to drain the energy. So now that I see it, it's the boundaries are smaller. You are confined to a block. We live in apartment buildings. Even though we live in a small house, it didn't feel like an apartment. You know what I mean? My house was here, and the church was here.
And so, right next to it.
Right next to it, and then the area where they sell all the groceries was here, and then the cantina. One cantina was in the farm. It was over there, and the only place that has a light on it. One light in the whole entire town, and the whole entire little town, little village.
Yeah. And so you didn't really get to escape the city much, I guess. But then when your grandfather died.
Yeah, well, my grandfather, but by the time my grandfather died, I was 11, 12, 13 years old, something like that.
So you were 11 or 12. So your grandfather was a lot older than you then? Your grandfather was a lot older than you. A lot?
A lot, yeah. My dad was the 11th son. Yeah, and he was the smallest son. Normally it's the older son who stays in charge, of the parents. But my dad, for some reason, he wanted to stay in charge. That's why I grew up with my grandfather. That's tradition.
So you broke tradition. The family did.
My dad did.
Yeah.
My dad did. He loves his parents so much. I remember when my grandpa passed away, he wanted to carry the casket by himself, which is the craziest thing to even think about it.
Yeah.
It was remarkable to see, and definitely was a sad scene to see, because he was devastated. I never seen my dad like devastated. It's very strong, you know. That people from that era, they're just too strong.
Yeah, well, they maybe keep it all inside.
Yeah.
It's not that they're not feeling it,
Right.
but they don't let
Right,
it
they
out.
definitely repress every single thing.
It's a generational
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And, you know,
It's
I
like
don't know.
a samurai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your dad is.
But now he cries for everything.
He does? But that's common too, I think, as they get
Yeah,
older.
it's like, you know, I'm on the phone. And now he's 83. He comes to my ranch in LA. And you know, when he doesn't get to talk to me for like a week, he start crying. Never in his life he would ever show weakness. You know, that was like a no.
We softened up.
Well, I guess it's part of it. You know, that has to come out. And for nothing, he pretty much he started tearing for nothing.
He's making up for
Yeah, I feel like weird. You know, it's like, well, dude, I don't know how to see you like with a tear on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I remember I wanted to cry. So, men don't cry. It's like, but the donkey just stepped on my feet. Yeah, but men don't cry. So you don't know how to do that, especially when you're a kid. It's a natural thing to express yourself. And so I grew up that way. So when I see him crying, like, what do I do? What do I do?
Right.
When I see my kids cry, it's not a problem. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I cried, and I mean, definitely America has allowed me to be in touch to my emotional side.
Yeah.
You know?
So you weren't when you were in Mexico, you weren't that in touch with
When
your
I'm from, you
emotions?
can.
You can't.
You know what I mean? You can. It's like it's sad at that time. Now it's definitely way better. You know,
So
definitely.
what changed though? Just being here, or did you?
Well, I think the exposure of looking perception. You know, is it true that men can cry? You know what I mean? Can a woman be a leader? You know what I mean? Is a woman that smart? Like all those things that is so taboo. It's definitely moving away from where you are. It allows you to see a different way of looking at the world.
Totally, because you're in one environment, you see things one way, but it's almost as soon as you step into a different one that it's like not only are you seeing the new environment, but you're seeing your old environment.
Yeah.
In a totally different way.
Yeah,
It's like, that's
and
better.
America happens too. You know, machismo exists all over. You know, machismo is not just a Latino thing or a Mexican thing. Machismo exists in America. You know, there's a lot of guys who feel that the woman, you know, can, you know, not too long ago, a woman couldn't vote here.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this perception or this way of looking at the world. We still don't have a woman president, and Germany already has a woman president, you know.
Yes, they sure do.
And England has a woman, you know, prime minister. So elephants have been doing it for a long time, you know.
And they're smart animals.
Yeah, that's right. So listen, I tell people, listen, this woman leading thing has been happening for a long time, especially with the elephants.
Yes, let's look to the elephants.
You know, that's right. So why the elephants? Because they know that a male, when he's unstable, she shouldn't be ruling the pack, and that's what they remove him. And this has been happening for hundreds of years. You know, the humans is finally catching up. That has nothing to do with gender. It's what's best for the pack.
Sure.
You know, so that gives you the, you know, going to different places. It allows you to open your mind and really look at the world in a different light.
So you moved here. I read something about you were
I was
a
21.
teenager. You were 21 and you didn't speak English at all.
Zero.
So why did you come here? What were you thinking?
Well, I started watching Lassie and Rin Tin Tin when I was 13. So I thought that all dogs in America were just like Lassie and Rin Tin Tin. So I said, wow. When I grew up, I'm gonna go to Americans, you know, because all the American movies, you know, the Americans are the heroes, and they're all white, and so I have to go learn from the white people, you know, and so they were all white. That's you know, that's so I said, I have to go find me an American, and for me at that time, Americans were white, because Jesus Christ is white too, you know what I mean? So everything good was white, so America is white. And all the superheroes were white at that time. Finally, it's a Black Panther. You know what I mean? Yes,
Black Panther,
yes. Finally, you know. So maybe one day a Mexican will be a superhero too.
Yeah, hello.
You know, so that's why, you know, everybody in the Rin Tin Tin era, they were white, and Timmy was white. You know, so that made me believe that in order for me to be the best, I have to come and learn from Americans.
Oh, so you always wanted to be the best then?
Yeah. Yeah. Even when I did come, you know, the greatest thing that my mom did when we moved to the city is she put me in judo. You know, so she redirected that energy because I was getting really frustrated and I was releasing that frustration on my sisters. So because, you know, I have too much energy. It's like, you know, like there's just a block. That's all I can go. And I'm used to go miles and miles and miles.
Yeah, judo is a smart move.
And martial arts, soccer, you know, baseball. We didn't have like a sport places the kids can go. Where I'm from, you can go to the beach and play, but it's too far from where I was. And at that time, my friends didn't want to go to the beach. They just want to play baseball with their hand. And so I had way more energy than they did. And so they put me in judo since I was 6 or 8, something like that. And that redirected my energy. I became a champion. You know, I compete
okay.
So I just wanted to be the best. You know what I mean? It's just, it's singers born to sing, and when you're born to be a leader or you're born to win, or by nature we're very competitive. You know, especially the kids that grow with the energy that I grew up, the high level energy kids, they're gonna be Michael Jordans, they're gonna be Kobe Bryants, you know, they're gonna be, you know, they're gonna be something. They have to. It's just no other choice. You can't. You go crazy if you don't.
Right. It's just your inner self is just kind of pulled in that direction.
That's it.
So all right. So you decided to move to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And how'd you do it?
I jumped the border.
How did you plan it out? Like, did you know where to go? Like, that there was a
No,
certain
you
spot?
know, you hear. Yeah. Well, for the people where I'm from, there is the Pacific side of it. That's in Tijuana. So people from the other side, they cross from Matamoros. You know, they go to Texas, they go to Arizona, they go to Chicago. You know, but people from where I'm from, they hear Tijuana, California. That's it. You know what I mean? It's a very simple path. But in order for me to leave, I needed to be 21 because otherwise my mom would not let me leave, you know. And so I saved some money for the bus. My dad gave me his life saving, which $100.
What?
You know, people over there work a lot and they get very little. You know, here we're blessed to have by the hour. You know what I mean? And you have the human resources and you have human rights and all of that great stuff, and you have lawyers. And over there, no. Over there is just, you know, the labor is really bad.
But he believed in you, and he wanted you to
start
off with the most that you could.
You know, I always say things, and I never. I always do what I say since I was little. So they just knew that day, because I left on December 23rd. I went to my mom and said, "Mom, I'm leaving," and you know how serious I was about the statement. It really. She called my dad and said, "Hey, you got to come here because you know your son is leaving." And so he saw my certainty about what I was saying, and he said, "Better wait for me." So he came and gave me the $100. You know what I mean? And that's I know that was all his savings. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I put it in my between my feet and my socks, and I took the bus. I gave him a hug.
By yourself?
By myself.
And you headed off to this one spot that you thought would be...
Well, the destination was Culiacan, from Culiacan to Tijuana. And back then, the buses were very slow. So it took like a day and a half or something like that. And the toilets smelled really bad in the bus, you know. It was, and you know, that's when the bus drivers used to take pills so they can drive all day. I mean, it was the most dangerous thing.
That's a little scary.
That's a little scary. Yeah.
That's worse than the smell, even.
Yeah, but that was normal. You know what I mean? That was normal. You hear it, you know it. The guy, you know, they were very edgy all the time, and so I just, you know, my mom gave me the blessings, and I took off, and so it took me 2 weeks to cross the border. because I wanted to keep my $100. You know what I mean? So in what I paid for the bus, that was it. So I didn't have any more money. I didn't know an address. I just knew the Disneyland or Hollywood. That was it. So that's the beauty of like that innocent. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. If you had known more, you wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. The more choices you have, the less a decision you make. You know, and so I had family, like my brother, my uncles from my mom's side, but they live in Arizona, Yuma, Arizona, which nobody wants. Not terrible. It's just desert. You know what I mean? It was. So that was an address, but I was Arizona. I'm going to Disneyland.
You're going
Hollywood.
to Disneyland.
You know,
you're going to the Hollywood side in the hills.
That's pretty much it. I didn't know that.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Because when you watch Lassie and Tintin, the whole Disneyland thing comes out. You know?
Yes.
You know, and that was like the back in the days, like, and that's Disneyland. You see, okay, Disneyland.
Well, like, what was the landscape there?
Where?
At the border.
Well, it's a big wall. It's a big wall with holes, and those holes are controlled by older ladies, and they're selling coffee and gum. So they're there, but if you try to cross, you have to pay the ladies.
No way.
Yes.
Oh.
So it looks
like you're getting gum.
Oh, no, it looks like those ladies are working, you know, versus if you see a guy standing there waiting, it's more obvious for the police to tell the guy to move or to arrest them versus an old lady selling coffee and gum. So it's really just a facade. Those ladies are evil. They're mean as hell. They're super mean, but they're doing their job, you know. And so, but there is a guy across the street from them taking care of them. Yeah, so those ladies are just there to make sure that you pay to use that hole.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you gave her all the money you had?
No, well, I tried it for 2 weeks, you know, just in different places, different, you know, that's my job, right? To find a place to get. I follow people. I follow coyotes. I mean, at that time, it rained in Tijuana really bad. A lot of people was watched out because you don't see 21-year-old kids crossing the border only. You see pregnant women. They want to have the babies on this side. And they're not as strong. You see older men wanted to get the health care, you know, or they want to work on the strawberries and whatever, and I saw people being taken away by the current, and the coyotes said, "Keep going," and the family members wanted to chase wanted to go and save them, you know. So a lot of people die. A lot. You see a lot of sadness. You see kids on the people's shoulder. I mean, it's dangerous. You know, it's like what the refugees are doing right now. You know, they have to go through the cold or through the desert, and I went through the rain. But for 2 weeks, I got caught over and over and over. The beautiful thing about the Border Patrol of the American Border Patrol is when they catch you, they feed you.
Okay.
So
you kept getting.
So often I would go and just get caught because I was starving. So I would get my sandwich, I would get my Coke, and I would wait for them to drop me off back.
Oh.
You learn the system, but they scare you. I mean, their job is definitely, you know, to scare you. You're breaking the rules, and they say, "We're gonna send you to Honduras. We're gonna send you to El Salvador." It's like, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? Like, they scare you, you know, they scare you. And one guy, when I was caught the first time, the guy immediately turned around and said to me, "Don't give your real name." And so when I wrote my first book, I called those people the angels that you can see. Because that was a human that was there to tell me, because I'm an honest guy, even though I'm breaking the rules, I was going to give my name.
Yeah, sure,
you know what I mean?
What's your real name?
Cesar Felipe Millan Puebla.
Okay, and what name did you give?
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay.
Just whatever, you know what I mean? And you change the name over and over and over. As
necessary.
Just, yeah. The good thing is I didn't have tattoos, so they couldn't say, no, this is your real name.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was a blessing. The other people that get tattoo and they get caught, That's it. They're done.
So you finally got through.
I got through. This coyote guy came to me, and the guy was skinny, was dirty, and he was smoking a joint. And he said to me, "You want to cross the border?" I said, "Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do." He said, "I charge you $100," and that to me was like a sign, because nobody knew I had $100. You know, nobody knew. So that made me feel
like
to trust
them.
This is the one. That's right. So this is the beauty of this guy. He helped me cross the border. He said, "I'm going to take you to a gas station, and then I'm going to get a taxi for you, and he's going to take you out, and it's going to drop you off in San Diego." I said, "But you know what? I'm giving you all my money, so I don't have money to get out." He paid the taxi driver $20 to take me out. So he only made $80. You see what I'm saying? That's another angel. It was.
And he followed through with it?
Yeah.
And so the taxi took you to San Diego?
Yeah. So that's how I made it.
So what did you do when you got to San Diego?
Oh, I went to sleep under a freeway.
And then what?
Well, then after the second day, you know, on the second day I started walking around, see how I was gonna eat. You know, you can always mop, you can always, you know, sweep. The classic jobs of car wash, dishwasher.
Yeah. So you started working to get these jobs.
Because everybody in San Diego speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, everybody speaks Spanish, and so I'm not a shy guy, you know, and I just move around. And
so but you knew that Hollywood was a little further north.
Yeah.
So
That's San Diego. San Diego was not even in, you know.
Right. So you were just there for a while, knowing that you still wanted to go.
I don't have money, so it's another border, you know, it's called San Clemente. That you can only cross by car or bus. That's it. You can't walk it. You have the mountains on this side, which is the Marines are always training, and you have the beach, which they're always patrolling. So your only way to get through it is by car or a bus. So obviously I have to take a bus, and you have to wait when they're not supervising, when they're not stopping every single car.
Okay.
You know, they have those days. So I stayed in San Diego for like 2 months. So I that's what I learned about 7-Eleven. I learned about AM/PM. You can buy 2 hot dogs for 99 cents. You can buy a refill for one time and just refill the big gulp. You know what I mean? So you invest one time and you go and refill yourself as much as you want, which is just an amazing thing.
So you figured it out. You saw the system.
Well, survival. You know what I mean?
Yes,
survival. I mean, I already crossed the border, so the hardest part is already done. So just America is the land of opportunities.
Sure.
You know, it's just the qualities of the opportunities. It's not just an opportunity. It's the quality. You know, it's the quality that America offers to people that are hungry. You have to be hungry to be in America if you want to have the American dream. You know,
right. It's not going to just come to you. You have to want it, and then you make it happen.
Yeah. America's going to embrace uniqueness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
America loves the uniqueness, the hustle and bustle. You know what I mean? America embraces anybody that is hungry.
Grit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you make it. You get on a bus.
Well. Before I got on the bus, I wasn't making enough money for me to buy a ticket until I started working in a grooming salon in Chula Vista, a dog grooming salon, and that's when I learned my first sentence: "Do you have application for work?" That's what I learned first. Do you have application for work?
Okay. How did you learn it?
I repeated it as many times.
Okay.
Well, I asked somebody, "Hey, how do you ask for a job?"
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you ask for a job? It's, "Oh, do you have application for work?" Okay, do you have application for work? Yeah, so one, you know, every day you work in different places. Okay, so if you go to Sizzlers, if you go to like Denny's, you go in the back, and it's always somebody missing. Okay, always somebody. The dishwasher guy is missing. Somebody's missing. So that's you go and take over. They're gonna pay you very little. But I didn't need a lot of money.
So someone's always missing. Why? Because they don't want to be
I don't know, because they didn't want to work.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
But there's
They're
always
not
a spot, but it's
responsible.
not a
always
long-term spot.
For
So
me,
you
I
keep
always,
going,
I'm going to go to a different Sizzler. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But then at the grooming shop,
At the grooming shop.
that was steady.
I pass by and look at the grooming shop. I was like, oh yeah, I'm a groomer, right? So I go in there, and that's when I practiced the first time, because on the other places, they were all Latinos in the back, right? And so I go in there, there's two old white ladies. I go in there and say, hi, do you have application for work? And they start talking to me in English. But the good thing is they had a Cocker Spaniel in the back, and they went to the Cocker Spaniel and he started biting them in their hands, right? And then they show me the picture and say, obviously what they were saying is, if you do it, you can have the business, right? So I went in there, grabbed the dog calmly, relaxed the dog, and the ladies were...
They were impressed.
They were impressed.
And shocked.
Super. So that day, I made $60. They charge $120 for grooming, and I said, the whole grooming thing, and the bath, and the blow dry, and it takes. So bottom line is, they pay the groomers 50%.
That's major.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And
unusual.
So I wanted to give them $50 back and just take 10. To me it was too much. My dad would make that in a week. So the lady said, no, you're gonna keep this, and so I kept I kept the $60. I felt super rich, from nothing to $60, and one dog.
So you kept the job then?
So they said, come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I came back, and then they find out that I was homeless. So what they did is, listen, you can stay here. They gave me the keys to the place so that I can sleep in. So I start cleaning the whole place. I'm a neat freak, I'm a Virgo. So I like things organized. I like things super clean. My mom always had, listen, poor doesn't mean dirty. And so I cleaned that place. They were so grateful about it. I took a shower in the bathtub. That was my first shower in America, was on a bathtub for dogs.
I love that. That's so right.
Yeah.
You mean in so many ways.
Yeah.
It's good.
So that's it. I took a shower, and then by the time that I realized, I made $1,000.
Whoa. It was working for everyone. So it was a win-win-win, right? They loved you probably. The dogs loved you. You were making money.
The owners of the dogs said, my dogs are so happy.
Oh, okay.
My dogs are so happy. They're just very relaxed. When the ladies did it, the dogs would finish tense. And with me, the dogs would finish happy-go-lucky. And it was just my energy. It's just my energy. Plus, I knew how to groom. And so it got to the day, you meet people in the street, and one guy came to me, Cesar, they're not stopping right now. This is the time to go. So I went to the Greyhound, buy a ticket, gave the kids back to the ladies, and with my, very much like Charlie Chaplin, what I mean? I was communicating my gratitude to them, and giving the kids back, and then I took the bus and left. But I first bought a pair of pants and and a t-shirt and a new shoes, because I had the same clothes for 2 months.
Wow.
Yep, 2 months. That's it. I didn't have it. I didn't bring a backpack. I didn't bring nothing. It was just me, myself, and I.
So then you had your clothes.
I went to Miller Outpost. I don't know if you remember that store. Oof, it was an old one. It's an old one. So I always wanted to buy Levi's 501. And
you got a pair?
Yep. Yeah, I got them.
So you got on the bus, and then?
I got on the bus, and we passed the line. My heart was beeping like a million miles an hour. Breathing, praying, classic Catholic stuff. I cross, and just the relief, and the smile, and this joy, and the victory, I am in Los Angeles.
Amazing.
I am in Los Angeles. I arrive at Skid Road. I don't know what the hell the Skid Road was until I arrived in downtown LA, which it was a horrible area. And I just walk onto the street, you know. You have to be street smart to walk the streets. You have to be, you know, street confident to walk the street. And all these drug addicts everywhere. I seen drug dealers. I never seen drug addicts.
What are you talking about? You had like the big guys.
Yeah, but those guys are not like
right. They're business people.
Yeah, they're not like messed up, you know. These people are like in the street, smell terrible, and you see they're shooting with a needle. That was the first time I actually saw somebody shooting heroin,
right in front of you.
In my life. Mm-hmm. Over there, nobody does that, you know. They don't even smoke weed. It's all about cocaine on that side. You know what I mean? Because weed is for the poor, and cocaine is for the rich. So that's, you know, heroin is for the worst.
Right.
Right? So that's how they perceive it there. So you're never going to see, well, at least I never saw anybody doing that. You know?
So that was a big
that was a big shock. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like, whoa. That's something else. But I don't make anything out of it. It is what it is, and you know, that's their thing. This is my thing, and I move out of the Skid Road, and I went for downtown LA. You know, I sleep on a bench, and the next day back then it was the Yellow Pages. You know,
I remember.
And there's a phone booth, and I look in the phone booth, and by then I already knew about the Yellow Pages and to look for kennels, right? So I immediately.
But hold on, you could read English? You knew
well,
the word
you understand, you know.
Oh, you probably knew, right?
Yeah,
you would know the word.
Yeah,
right.
kennels.
So you were. It sounds to me like you're starting to pick up English.
Well,
at
I'm
this
not
point.
a slow guy.
No, you're not.
You know what I mean? I know what I want. I know what to ask. You know, one of the things that I have very clear in me is that I always want to ask the right questions. So I caught a lot of crap. You know what I mean? Maybe my English is not good, but my questions are to what I want. You know, so to what I want is to where I want to go. So I'm very clear.
So you knew kennels. You looked it up in the Yellow Pages.
Yes, right.
And then what?
But remember, there is the Spanish side and then there's the English side.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And then you have the Chinese side.
Yeah.
Yeah. You die because you want to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You listen. You don't have to know the language to get to what you want to go. Yeah. Now your intention have to be more powerful than your obstacles. So
you got a job.
So I called this place, and this Cuban guy say, you know, that was a luck or a bless, whatever you want to call it. He said, yeah, you know, right now I need a kennel boy. I'm in my way. Where are you? I took a bus. You ask, you know, like I say, in San Diego and Los Angeles, everybody speaks Spanish, so it's not like I was suffering from the language. And they, you know, tell you take the 136 exit here, da 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 da. So it took time. I got to the place. The guy gave me the job, and that's when I learned about the kennels. You know, they work in kennels, picking up poop, feeding hundreds of dogs, walking dogs so they can go pee and poop, like how they do it. You know what I mean? The guys was selling trained dogs that he purchased from Germany, and then he comes and sell it to the American people. Steve Wynn was one of his clients. So we're talking about $60,000-$50,000 dogs.
Yes.
You know, and so that was the dog training thing, which I was like, it's kind of boring, because the dogs are in the kennel, and they go out, and the trainer practice sit down, stay calm, heel, and he put it back in the kennel. So that to me was like kind of unnatural, you know. That's that. And so later at night, what I started doing is I started bringing the dogs outside when I started finish work. So my days were 16-hour days. So I bring them out and I put them in a pack, which that's what I grew up with. But the guy got mad at me because they can fight and this, do not do that, you know, this is not good for the dogs. It's like, what do you mean? It's like telling kids not to play with each other. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that didn't make any sense to me. And but you know, that's his place. So I just say, listen, I just want to be with somebody. I don't have anybody to talk. The guy we didn't talk a lot. He was my boss, and that was it. You know, he let me sleep in the place, so I will get $200 a week. The ladies on the grooming place will pay me more than this guy.
Right. Well, the ladies in the grooming place, that was a lucky spot.
Yeah,
found.
totally.
So, all right. So you're working for them, and then what? Then what? You made a move at some point.
Yeah, I made a move. The people at the place, the customers, start seeing that their dogs respond very trustworthy to me. You know, so they really like how their dogs were behaving towards me, more natural. You know, versus the trainer, they were a little bit more in the cowering thing. You know. And so one guy said, you know what? His name was Jay Real, and he had a limousine. He would sell limousines. And he said, you know, come to work with me, and I make sure all my friends send you their dogs so you can work with them.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and so he had Buck and Samantha, 2 golden retrievers. So he saw that I wasn't happy there, and he saw that he can utilize me for other things, and at the same time he can help me. You know?
Yeah.
So that's another angel.
Yes.
You see, and so that, and he helped me. Back then, you didn't need to have a green card or anything to have a DMV driver license. So he took me to get a driver license. He gave me an Astro van. Mm-hmm.
Gave it to you?
Well, he loaned it to me and eventually sold it to me.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and he paid me $8.50 an hour.
Okay.
And my job was to make sure all the limos were super clean and detailed. I learned about detail.
Yeah, and again, your cleanliness.
Yeah,
that
perfect.
came in handy.
Yep, perfect. And then he referred to me to his friends, and he told me to charge $300 per dog. I didn't know what to charge, so $10 a day, pretty much, per dog. So it was a steal, right? But for me, it's not about the $300. It's I'm doing 5 dogs.
Sure.
So it's $1,500.
Right.
A month.
Good. That's good.
Yeah. Plus what I'm making as in the car wash, you know. And then I have a car now. I start feeling more part of the environment, you know. And thanks to this guy, he didn't have to do it, you know. He didn't have to do it. So that's how I start becoming known as this Mexican guy who has a pack of dogs. Because to me, it was all about the pack. To me, it was all about walk.
Yeah. So you'd walk them all at the same time.
Yeah.
And then people would see you on the street.
People would
Have
see
you seen that Mexican guy walking a million dogs?
That's right. That became the word of mouth.
So that more people would call you to do it, or would something else go on? Were you becoming like a hot topic?
Well, so then another guy named Ross. He gave me an apartment in the back of his house, like a studio. A studio, and in return, I can work with his 2 dogs, Syke and Howie, a German Shepherd and a Rottweiler. So I was his personal, in a way, dog walker, trainer, dog care for dogs, whatever, all of that. And I didn't care. I just had a place to live. So that put me in Inglewood. And that, believe it or not, that's when I became known as the guy who can work with the most powerful breeds, which is the Rottweilers, the German Shepherds, and the Pit Bulls. Because in the hood, they don't have Labradors or Shih Tzus. You know what I mean? They all have one of those. You know, they do have a dog for protection purposes. You know what I mean? So I start walking dogs for people. I start charging $10 a day, and I will walk the dog for a long time. So it was a great deal, but I was doing 30, 40 dogs at the same time.
Holy cow, it's a lot of dogs.
It's a lot of dogs, and it's great money, $300, $400 a day.
So what happened then? Did they scoop you up and say, this is like a phenomenon, let's put him on TV?
No. No. What happened is the word of mouth. So then back then the Lakers used to play in the Forum. You know, and so now the Forum is back, but it's used for like concerts and things like that. And so all the Lakers start sending their assistants, hey, go find me that guy, you know, that walked from Inglewood to South Central. And and that's when I started working for dogs for the NBA. I started working for dogs for Vin Diesel, Nicolas Cage. I met Jada Pinkett. I met Will Smith. So then.
So you became like a celebrity dog.
I guess.
Guru.
I guess I didn't see it that way, but I guess I was the only guy who was rehabilitating dogs who bit people, dogs who bit dogs. You know what I mean?
So plenty of the dogs you were walking at that time were troubled dogs.
Yeah.
So they were getting more than just a walk.
Yeah, I didn't know how to charge at that time. Yeah, but it's the same treatment. You're just giving the dog what he's missing, which most dogs in America are missing a long walk. That's it. A lot of the problems can go away with a good long walk. So then the LA Times. That's when the TV show came. So then the LA Times.
They did a story on you?
Yeah, they did it. They followed me for 3 days. So they went to a consultation. They went to the mountains with me. They from the morning to the night. So they follow me. They documented my life for 3 days. And at the end, the lady says, "So, you have a great thing going on. People come and limousines come to South Central and they drop off their dogs. And what would you like to do next?" America always like to ask people like what they want to do in 5 years. I never heard that. You know what I mean? But I also I never stopped myself from saying what I want. So I said I would like to have a TV show or a radio show so I can teach people common sense. So I can teach people, because at that time I didn't want to train dogs anymore. I just
you were done by then.
No, I just want to train people.
So at some point there was a shift for you.
Yeah, because I saw it's not the dogs with the problem. You know what I mean? A dog that is trained doesn't mean it's balanced, and a dog that is balanced doesn't mean it's trained. I'd rather have a balanced dog than a trained dog. You see, humans who are trained doesn't mean they're nice. Doesn't mean they're balanced. So that's when I understood balance, the difference between balance and train. My clients are Harvard graduate, but they can't walk a Chihuahua. You see what I mean? So, yeah. Yes. So that's when so what I already knew, I can sell it. So who do I sell it? To the humans. How? I train people, rehabilitate dogs. See, I changed the game.
So you were already thinking that before the article? Like before the LA Times came to interview you?
Yeah.
So when they asked you that question.
So when they asked me the question, I just came out from the soul, and I said, well, I just want to have my own TV show, and or a radio show, and so they wrote it down in the LA Times. It was a lot of pages. It was like 2-3 pages of the LA Times. And so the newspaper came on a Sunday. By Monday, it was a line of producers outside.
Get out of here! Waiting, lining up.
What is this? Because that's the moment of the live shows of the reality shows.
They were just coming to the
that's when the Osbournes.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, those were the first. So then I said I want to have my own show, and I unusual.
And then what show was that? So that was the Dog Whisperer?
Yeah. And
now I read something about they like sort of own your name or something like that?
Oh, that was the lawsuit. That was when artists or people who are creative, we are most of the time we're going to be very trusting and very naive when it comes to contracts. So I went into a business with this production company, believing that they were going to honor the I guess the friendship or everybody gets a piece.
Right.
Everybody gets a piece, and we all need to feed our families, and you own your thing, I own my thing, and so I will take care of you. I make sure that every single dog we do, I'm going to do it perfect. And so it wasn't that way. You know, it has happened, and that's when I learned, you know, happened to happen to many people, you know. It happened to so many people. They signed the wrong contract.
And then they basically get screwed.
And we get screwed. Yeah, we screwed. I finally, you know, we won the lawsuit after 6 years. Yeah. So now I own 50%.
Oh, okay. But for a while you didn't.
No, I didn't. No, not even my name.
What do you mean your name? Your actual name, Cesar Millan?
Yeah, I couldn't use my name for a TV show. So somehow they wrote it into even my kids' names. So if I wanna have you know, show Cesar Millan, I will have to pay them money to use my name.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That was a very dishonest, oh my God, it was borderline evil.
And that was the first contract that you signed, or was that a different
No, that was the only
company?
contract.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
So what was going on then at that time? So that everything changed for you, I guess, right? Once you get the show. So now people are really recognizing you more than they already did before.
Oh yeah, I mean, I never had a TV show before.
So you have a home at this point. You bought a home.
Oh yes. We bought a home in Inglewood.
When you say we, who are you talking
Well, I was
about?
married.
So when did you get married? Where did that come in?
Oh, when I moved to Ross's house at the studio place. So, yeah. So that was, you know, as I'm working in America and doing all of that. Of course, you want to meet women.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. You want to meet ladies, and so I met the mother of my kids. She got pregnant pretty fast, and that's how it happened.
Okay. So you were married before the show came, before the article.
Yeah.
Okay, and you had
Yeah.
kids already.
Andre.
Oh, you had one.
Yeah.
You have 2 sons, right?
Yeah. Andre and Calvin.
Okay.
Which they both have a show.
They each have a show?
Yeah.
What are the shows called?
Nickelodeon is Calvin. He has mutton stuff.
Okay.
And Andre has Dog Nation with me, and also have a Pet Talk.
Okay. All right, so you're married and you get the show. What happens? Is life feeling good to you at that point? Are you feeling like, yes, this is what I dreamed of. I am in this place. I have the money that I need. I have family. I'm in Hollywood.
No, I never saw it that way. I'm just, you know, I have always been a hardworking guy. So, you know, I have always been a family guy. I have always been a very dedicated person. You know what I mean? So that was just the beginning. That was just. Once you get that kind of situation, responsibilities get bigger. Then you start thinking about insurance, liabilities, and all this. You know, people who don't like what you do, and oh my God, it's the adjustment of, you know, what fame, power, and money brings to human, especially when you grew up with none of that. You know what I mean?
Was it tough to?
Yeah, of course. I didn't know how. I just didn't know. To me, I'm a simple farm boy, you know, farm guy, who came to America, you know, looking for his passion and his dream. That's pretty much it. I didn't know how it was going to look like. You know, so
did it
you're not
freak you
prepared.
out a little bit? The fame?
No, because I stayed in the mountains most of the time, you know, walking with the dogs. It was uncomfortable for my kids growing up, you know, because people will come and say, "Can I take a picture? Can I take a picture?" What I was as a dad, you know. So now they understand it, but when they were little, that was sad to see them. It was hard for them.
They didn't like it.
They
right?
didn't like it, you know. They didn't like it. Now they love it.
Okay.
You now, yeah, that's right.
What were we so upset about back
then? That's
then?
right. Yeah, they didn't. I mean, they're kids. You know, they want their dad.
Yeah.
They want their dad. And when you have animals, you pretty much are. It's like people who own hotels or restaurants. They're tied to it.
Yeah, constantly.
Yeah, constantly. And animals they don't understand, you know, holidays and nothing like that.
So at a certain point, you opened up your dog psychology center.
I did. I opened it in South Central actually. I had a parking lot that a Cuban guy named Waldo Sanchez, we exchanged for security purpose. People were breaking in his place through his parking lot. So by me taking over the parking lot, I provided security. So we exchanged, you know. I was doing a lot of, I used to help a lot of rescuers. So half of my pack belonged to rescuers, so that was like pro bono kind of thing. And I rescue dogs from the streets in South Central, a lot of pit bulls, because the gang members will fight him, and the dog with an eye out, they would throw him in the street, broken leg, light it up on fire, throw him out. So I became to rescue dogs. I'd never done it, but it was the right thing to do. And so a lot of the dogs that were with me, at least half of the pack were rescues, and the other half was, belonged to celebrities.
Life was good. Then it got difficult at a certain point,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. 16 years later, it got difficult. 16 days when I was in England, and that's when I received the call that we get a divorce. And that was a shock, because I was not expecting it.
Your wife just called you out of the blue?
Well, not out of the blue for her, out of the blue for me.
So it
was a plan, because she said, I've been planning this for a year and a half. I just didn't know. You know what I mean? So that's what throws people off. Like when you're not in agreement about doing something, like if I knew that those guys were going to do the kind of deal they did with me, I'm in agreement. Mm-hmm. So it's not so much what they did as that you were not in agreement that hurt you the most. You know what I mean? Because I'm a guy that like with the animals, you just work out of honesty. You know what I mean? It's just how you live your life.
Mm-hmm.
So you think the whole world, the people around you are gonna function the same way. There's nothing wrong with the separation. It's just how you do it. You know what I mean? That's what shocked me, because at that time my kids knew, and they were okay with it. So the only one who didn't know was me.
Wait, they knew before you did?
Yeah, because she told them.
So you didn't sense there was anything
No,
wrong?
I'm working. I'm traveling all over the world. I'm doing live shows, and this is my first time in England. We have sold outs. This was when Michael Jackson passed away. He was supposed to do a show in the O2, and we were worried because Michael Jackson, he's gonna sold out. Nobody's gonna go see my show. Yeah, but unfortunately he passed away and then sold out. And so I'm about to go on stage when I received the call. So it's a shock, it's just a shock.
Right, because you were so busy going all over the world and thinking about all these different things that were going on.
And she was managing the business, so she knew what it was going to be. She was managing the whole thing. And the Mexican or Latino, we have a tendency to do things within the family. And everybody pitches in. So I brought her on. Listen, you speak English better than me, and so help the family. Yeah. So that's the shock. That was the shock. Is we were not compatible from the beginning, but we tried to make it work for the boys.
Oh, so you knew the marriage wasn't that?
No, we were not
perfect.
compatible. She's a cat girl. I'm a dog guy.
A cat girl?
Yeah.
You married a cat girl?
I didn't know. Listen, I was not looking to say, do you like cats or you like dogs?
It's such a fundamental difference, isn't it?
Yeah, but so yeah, that like even from that point of view, we were not compatible. Yeah. So yeah, and it's so many things that we were not in common. Our common was our boys. So yeah, it was the right thing to do. It's just the way it happened. That's why I felt rejected by the pack. I felt betrayed, and all these things that send you into a spiral. Where you feel a failure, you feel something die, you feel rejected, you feel, you feel worthless. Even though you have all this thing happening here, to me it's about the family. You know what I mean? You're working so hard, not for me anymore. That's not about me. It's about the family, right? And so now the family is giving the back in a way. It's not. My kids were just doing what they were told. They were little. But that hurts. That really hurts, and that's why I tried to commit suicide, which I did try, and I was not very successful.
So right after you found out, you tried?
Not right after. Like I'm trying to come back and see if how can I deal with it, and I got to a point where I just got too depressed. Like I was in a hole. I was dark. I was like weightless, and I didn't want to do nothing. You feel worthless. You know what I mean? You feel worthless. That's that's that emotional tones that you can go. You can be happy. You can be whatever inches or whatever thing. But I never been in that place. I come from poverty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I never come from rejection. You know, I never come from dishonesty. I never experienced that crap.
Especially from the place that it's your heart, where your heart is.
Yeah, I'm doing it for the family. I'm like 100%. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't. You know, I'm not a womanizer. I'm not. You don't know nothing about me. You know, you don't know that because I never done it. I'm like a penguin. I stick to one. You know what I mean? Yeah, even if I did it out of honor, and that's what it is, that's what it is. You said even if it's not out of love, I totally get it, but I did it out of honor. So I never broke the rule, or the golden rule.
Yeah.
Never.
So you did everything right that you felt was the right thing to do, but then it didn't. You felt rejected. You weren't part of, or the pack was sort of rejecting you, and you felt depressed.
Yeah, of course. You do feel, like the kids in high school when the friends rejected them or bullied them and things like that. That's why a lot of kids want to commit suicide.
Yeah, it hurts.
It hurts. It's very painful. When you're not accepted by your family. We are pack-oriented. We are pack-oriented species, and being an individual is wonderful, but being an individual without a pack is terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible.
So did you feel this bad for a long time?
I feel bad for like 2 weeks. For like 2 weeks, because I was in England and I have to continue the tour. That was the first day. Okay, so I have to continue for like a month, right? And then go from England to France to do this television thing where all these people come and so you can sell the show internationally. So I'm going, I'm going and I don't know, is it an anxiety attack? I don't know what did I have. The paramedics have to come to my hotel and bring me back and blah blah blah. It's just an anxiety attack, you know what I mean, and exhaustion as well. I wasn't eating. I wasn't, I was just super depressed. Come to LA. So what it looks like is you're here and you feel like your house is on fire and you can't help stop it. So that's the desperation, powerless, and you ask so many questions. How? Why? You know what I mean? There's no, you can't. I didn't do nothing wrong, So, but I got back and didn't work out, and that's when I find out about, it was all planned and all this. It's like, I mean, that's amazing, good for you and good for the kids, but you guys left me behind. If I'm in agreement, let's go for it. There's nothing wrong. Agreement, commitment, follow through. No problem. We're gonna drown or we're gonna survive. But let's agree on one or the other. Don't just
and
let
we're
me
gonna do
drown.
it together.
Yeah, totally.
What did you do in terms of?
Oh, I just took a whole bunch of pills. They were supposed to kill 5 people. When when it's not your turn, even if you put yourself in front of the bullet, it's not gonna happen.
So did you plan this ahead of time, or did you just kind of one day? So did you look up? These are the pills that I need.
Yeah. This is the grab it, take it, and then the paramedics came.
How did the paramedics know?
The kids called. Yeah.
So you did this at home?
Yeah. You just lose your common sense and your it's not you anymore. It's just pure darkness. It's pure sadness. It's pure failure. You are taken away by Darth Vader. You own Darth Vader. You own dark holes. You're covering yourself. I put that crap on me. Nobody else did it. I just didn't know how to deal with it. Like, never in my life, See, when I was poor, and when I had some money, it happened to me.
Yeah, it's not about money.
But you could. I mean, it's like the spectrum of like when you have nothing, you have more.
Right. It's not right. It's not about right. Or if it's about money, it's almost the opposite.
Right. But then at that moment, what all this crazy thoughts and whatever thing. Of course, it's not about money. It's just at the end of the day, we were not compatible from the beginning. Period.
That was it.
That was it. And the same thing that happened to people. A lot of times, people get the dog that's not compatible to them. That's it.
It was never going to be right.
No. So that's what this time I said. Well, I'm going to find me a girl that is compatible to me.
So you got divorced.
Yeah.
Did you start to feel better? Did you see a therapist? What did you do
hell
to?
no.
What do you mean, hell no?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't need a therapist. You need to go back to fall in love with what I was in love. That's
So you
it.
you dove back
I
in.
rehabilitated myself with doing exercise, mental stimulation, and affection. That's it. Body, mind, heart. I did what I do for dogs. Yeah, I went back to what I know best. I started walking packs of dogs. I started, focusing on doing other things, like different shows. I went outside America. I went to Spain. I lived in Spain for a few months. I took Calvin with me. I took my fiance now. I met a wonderful woman.
How'd you meet?
Dolce & Gabbana, Beverly Hills. She used to work in Dolce & Gabbana on the woman department. She was a wardrobe stylist, and that day I said, you know what? I just want to wear a suit, and I used to weigh 135 pounds. I'm skinny as hell, and so that day I just love James Bond. That's one of my favorites, and also
Who's the best James Bond?
All of them. I like. They're all classic. You know what I mean? They're all fit. They're all smooth, sexy. I also like Scarface. Yeah, so I just got this thing, I want to get my inner whatever it's
Suave
called.
guy.
Yeah. So I just want to get it, and got my sandals, my jeans, my white t-shirts, my black glasses. Walk through Dolce & Gabbana, and on the right side, on the woman's side, this beautiful silhouette. I didn't see her face. I just looked at her silhouette, and I went, "Oh God, what a beautiful body!" And I just won. I didn't have the energy to engage, but it brought back this male side of me, this exciting side of me, And she actually went to the elevator, and I saw her face to face, and I said, "Oh my God, you're even beautiful."
You said that to her?
No, in my head. I'm so insecure at that time. I'm insecure. I'm a failure. I just want to go get my suit so I can feel good. I'm looking for a suit to feel good.
Right, because you don't already.
I don't feel, you know what I mean? Yeah. So she said, my version of how we met is she has a different version, but she started talking to me, and she said, I'm very proud of, as a Latino, I'm very proud of you, and she gave me a high five, and I said, oh my God, in my head, I'm like, wow, you're so beautiful. I didn't say it, I didn't say words, I just said thank you, and just went out. And
oh, so she knew who you were?
She said she doesn't, but like that guy said, I have a different version.
Yeah.
But she did engage into a conversation.
Right, because why else would she say that to just a random guy?
That's right.
Right.
Why are you going to elevator with a guy that just walked in with fucking sandals? Sorry about that. With sandals and a jeans, and so something happened there. I visually saw it, and and then I love her face, and so everything about her was it just took away my misery away,
So what, did you get her number then, or what?
No. I didn't engage in the conversation. No, I was super timid, super insecure.
So just thank you, and that was all.
I was thank you for being here. I just not even verbally. I didn't say nothing. I didn't even try to flirt with her. I didn't feel like I could ask her out. Guys will grade the girls, and that's a 10, that's a 5, that's a thing. And for me, she was a 10, and I was a 2. So it wasn't going to be. It's just a girl so you can see, you can't take, So the good thing is that she asked the sales lady about me, and so that was a big relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wait, how would the sales lady know anything about you?
Because I bought a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay, so she would have your.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and she said
Your deets.
he's coming back on whatever day, because we're gonna alter his things. He's gonna come for measurement and blah blah blah. So that's when I actually talked to her, and I invite her. When I'm gonna go to Miami and to do something for Univision. Can I take you out? I didn't know.
So were you feeling
she
like
was from here. She was actually from New York.
Oh, from New York.
She's a Dominican girl born in Washington Heights. So she moved to LA. So she has been in LA 2 to 3 months. So she's new. So when I find out that she was new, the move was, can I take you out? Can I show you around? You know what I mean?
Perfect.
Right? Yeah,
Smooth.
that was the.
So you must have been feeling like a 3 at least at that point.
I felt like a 2.5. Okay. Yeah. So it was good, and I was just love to see her. And so she said yes. She said yes.
Don't worry, there's more. In part 2 of my talk with Cesar Millan, you'll find out what happened next after he fell for Jahida, his fiance. And we get behind the scenes details about his TV shows. He talks dog psychology, rehabilitation, he analyzes humans, dog parks, and he shares his daily routine. It's all good. So remember, the trick is subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you click the subscribe button wherever you're listening. And subscribe to the Really Famous newsletter while you're at it. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook so you'll know when it's ready for you. In the meantime, check out my Cesar Millan bonus video. You can actually see him doing a quick answer Q&A, which is part of episode 2. So it's like a sneak peek. You can also see pictures of his dogs, Junior and Benson, in the hotel suite where Cesar and I talked. Everything you need is in the show notes, clearly labeled, one click. Thanks again to our sponsors, Fresh Patch and Pet Playgrounds. Thanks for listening to Really Famous. I'm Cara Mayer Robinson, and I'll be back with more Cesar Millan in just a few days.